welcome back to my bathroom, a place that I haven't really filmed in since I have felt mentally stable, but I'm gonna keep it frank with you guys. Feeling a little weird lately. I have felt very disconnected from the internet, disconnected from my friends online, and something that made me really reconnect again on my old channel was doing reading vlogs, weekend vlogs, life vlogs. So I want to try to do that again, even if it means I'm not in the best of headspaces. But yeah, I haven't really done any videos lately, especially on this channel, or this is the only channel I do videos on. I'm rambling. It's been a minute since I did a video. I took a long weekend to try to just like recalibrate for the summer because I have a lot of PTO coming up that I need to cover at work. And so I had all day off yesterday. Most of it was spent with my grandma. And I also went and did some shopping. So I bought a bunch of new fabric. A lot of things have happened since I've been on this channel. I sell scrunchies now on my website. I have a website versus an Etsy now. So if you didn't know, at some point I started making book sleeves and I was on Etsy. Now I have a website. It is angelmakescrafts.com, and I have book sleeves and bookmarks and scrunchies now on there. And scrunchies have become my new obsession. This is one that I did not make. Life update's over, but I haven't read very much. I've been doing a lot more crafting, and in my mind, I've gotten back into the habit of like, I need to obsess about a specific thing and like make it my whole personality trait, which in this instance right now is crafting. And so I really haven't read a lot lately. The most recent book I just finished was Defect by Nino Cipri, and this was a sequel to Finna. It was amazing. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and it was like, they don't ever say it, but it feels this way, a neurodivergent character, and they are feeling, it's really hard for them to fit into this world. They work in a store that's kind of like IKEA, and it just, I've related so much to the main character in this like constant state of trying to adapt to speaking to someone. That was my most recent read, and it took me like 10 days to read a 120-page book or 160-page book. So hopefully I'm gonna read a little bit this weekend. But what I'm doing right now is I just put on YouTube, and for the most part this afternoon I've just been working on crafting. I am finishing up some springtime book sleeves, and then I'm going to work on cutting and maybe making some more scrunchies. And I'm hoping once I finish those and work on some scrunchies, it won't be like 1 in the morning, because I would like to also get some reading done. I bought some new books this weekend. I think the problem I'm having is that I want like short-term successes, and so crafting what I craft and make, it doesn't take a long time to make them, so I get like almost immediate gratification. Whereas with a book, unless I'm listening to an audiobook, the gratification takes much longer to achieve. I was just about to put on Sage's new video where he talks about, I think it's like a vlog where they're talking about like body trauma and potentially like body dysmorphia.
The other book I have is The 3 Body Problem by Cixin Liu, and I'm scared of this because it is heavily sci-fi, heavy sci-fi, and I haven't read sci-fi in a long time. I've actually tried to read this in the past and just couldn't really connect with it. So we're gonna give it another try, and if my brain is just done with sci-fi for a little bit, I'm gonna honor that, but we'll at least attempt for this. And then the book that I'm going to start with, and I'm probably most excited for, is Bodywork by Lisa Vivos, The Radical Power of Personal Narrative. This just came out through Catapult, and I have been really eyeing it, and then I saw that Sean hauled it, and then I also wanted to buy it. So experiences and stuff like that. So interesting, but the wellness industry has some problems. I'm not oh, I forgot to mention that Sean did also read My Body by
I am finally done with the book sleeves and bookmarks for today. Let me show you what I finished. So I did like probably like 8 yesterday, but today I only finished 3 bookmarks plus, what do we got? Let me turn you around and show you the mess. all these bookmarks, so I mean book sleeves, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and now I have this whole pile of fabric that I want to work on. But that is the mess for now. I am going to now work on cutting all of the strings because as I go I don't clip the little strings on them, if it'll focus on that instead of me. I have a bunch of extra threads, so I'm gonna cut those all up and then probably work on the cutting up the fabric for scrunchies. I'm like exhausted for some reason. I think it's just like I've been doing a lot of sewing the last 2 days, even though it's days off. Also, I have Miss Bento here sitting on what actually has like a bunch of our rock salt in it. And she just loves sitting on this. This is what I used to put her, I used to have her sleep next to me when I was doing like live streams and stuff. I would put her on there. She just really likes the padded seat, and I don't have anywhere else for her to sit. But once I move to the couch, I'll be able to have her at least sit on my lap, which is where she actually wants to be. Trying not to abuse her by having her not sit on my lap, you know? So on Saturday, I ended up just trying to build some profiles for my new products. This was the spring collection of like bookmarks and book sleeves that I had made on the previous night. So you'll see here, I was just going through and making Shopify profiles, pretty much copying other profiles that I already have built, putting in the pictures and editing those. And it was just a nice kind of relaxing moment for me. I tend to enjoy this kind of work because it is just busy work and I could just build them without thinking about it. And I think I had some music or like a podcast going on in the background. So, you know, just having every facet of my brain busy. I was able to finish volumes 1 and 2 of Black or White, which I picked up this weekend. I love that I found a new series. I'm already like 2 volumes deep. These 2 actors, both of who are pretty new in acting, and one is always typecast as like a villain because he has this very like he appears very cold, but he's actually really sweet. And the other one is always typecast as like the prince, this very sweet character. And he's actually not as interested in acting, and I feel like he portrays this like princely character because he feels that that's what people think that he's going to be, because he's very handsome and very approachable. And they are in a relationship, but they have to keep it secret because they're afraid that being openly gay and also being like a good and a bad character will kind of negatively influence the other. And it's also dealing with a sense of like a lack of open sexuality in a relationship. I know, Bento, you're being annoying because you're not getting attention. Typically when I first wake up, she just needs you to like come and rub her belly and love her. Miss Bento. The camera doesn't want to focus on you. I'm sorry, sweetie. Maybe if I hide, it'll think her face. No, it doesn't care about you. I'm sorry. You want to sit on the couch or you want to sit with me? I was also able to start this sweater that I'm really interested in. There's 2 dinosaur sweaters that I bought the pattern for on Friday. I was able to complete about this much on the back panel. It's not very interesting so far, but I want to say it's about 9 inches tall. So that's quite a lot, and I'm a little concerned. I'm typically a like 2 to 3X depending on the brand of clothes, but this just seems like a bit much. Like, it's just so large, and I can't tell if I mess up something with measuring my body because it said to measure at the widest point. But I have a feeling it's going to be a very slouchy sweater, but I think it's building up really nicely. It is a half double crochet, and I think that the ribbing is going to look really classy. I don't know what word I'm looking for. The back panel, I am just working on like the bottom part, and then it's going to get to like my armpits and then kind of like decrease a bit, and then the front panel is pretty much the same thing but with the actual like brontosaurus on it. I also started The Little Sleep by Paul Tremblay, which I was able to find an audiobook of on Hoopla. So I've only read about 10 pages, but this is about a character who is a PI, a private detective in, I think, Boston, because Paul Tremblay is based out of Massachusetts, and he is I think getting closer to retirement, but something that he has is narcolepsy. So he is kind of always having narcoleptic, what were they, narcoleptic episodes, but also like during those episodes he tends to have these hallucinations, and he loses a lot of time. And so it is dealing with I think the first case that he's dealing with is a woman comes into his practice and says that somebody has literally like cut off her fingers and has replaced them with someone else's fingers, and is asking him to find the person and also to theoretically retrieve her fingers. But he's like, that's ridiculous. Like, that's not real. So he wakes up from that episode and assumes that it's not real. Depending on how I feel today, I'm probably going to keep going with this a little bit more, and then also download the audiobook for a little sleep so that I can get through it, because it's only like a 7-hour audiobook. I was actually rather surprised at how short it was. It's practically the whole day later, but different PJs on, and I am in my like office space here at the house, and I think I have finally finished the back panel for my sweater. I pretty much just crocheted all day. I did not read. I did not do anything of substance aside from work on this sweater, and we went grocery shopping a little bit. But I just really wanted to get it done because it was getting really repetitive. And I wanted the boring half and the less difficult half to be done. Again, I definitely think it's gonna be big. I think it's gonna be one where like the sleeve starts kind of like my PJs. The sleeve will start down on my arm, but where are my things? So just to cover the whole screen with it, let me actually stand up and show you what it looks like on my body. I'm in my PJs. So yeah, this is the back, and we have like the curve for the armhole, and we have this area which will be a neck hole, and yeah, so it's not very interesting. It also is a little short. I'd like it to be lower than my belly, but I'm thinking I can fix that once we get to like the finishing touches. I can probably add some other ribbing at the bottom, but considering it's just like one plain panel, pretty impressed with myself. And also you'll see these like stitch markers, these 4 quadrant here. Those ones are what I'm going to be using for when I go to make the front panel, which is I think the same exact size and everything as this. They will actually act as a tool to help me map out the pattern for the Brontosaurus. Overall though, like I've used over a skein and a half, probably close to 2 skeins of yarn to finish this, and it's definitely gonna be big. I'm kind of impressed with how like even my tension is on everything. Like, nothing against some of the people that I saw doing the pattern on Instagram, but I did notice a lot of like holes. So I noticed a lot of people doing things where there were just weird gaps in their stitches, and I'm just like so impressed with myself that like it looks relatively even. I've been crocheting for 20 years though, so I would hope that it looks okay. But aside from that, I do have a Shopify order to fulfill, and I'm gonna do that in a little bit. But right now I'm gonna be going back to work tomorrow after having 2 days off, Thursday and Friday. So I'm gonna start to catch up on emails and just make sure that nothing weird is going on. And let me actually pull that up while I'm on here. I want to see how many emails I have. I'm gonna catch up on this probably for like half an hour. Jose, I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but Jose is playing WWE 2K22, whatever the most recent one is. He was playing with his friends before, and that's when I was crocheting and stuff. So he is out there, and I'll go join him and just like watch while I work on fulfilling that order. Oof, yeah. So I have 241 emails that are unread. I'm gonna dive into emptying those all out right now, and then yeah. I also like I said, I didn't actually end up reading any of that Paul Tremblay book. I think I'm going to give myself a quick win though tonight, and once I've caught up here, oh, it's up to 297 emails. Did I say that before? Once I've caught up here and once I fulfill the order, I'm going to maybe just read a manga, because I don't feel like downloading the audiobook and listening to it for a while. Like I'm kind of exhausted. I am getting set up to do some sewing, because in this bag back here I have a whole bunch of fabric for scrunchies. It's like completely full, honestly. And yeah, today's been a little bit of a whirlwind. I tried to film a clip because I made it a few rows into the second panel, the front panel of my sweater, but I messed up. So basically it's kind of like a graph. You follow a graph to figure out like where the stitches are going to be and which color they're going to be. And I was looking at the counts for a size medium, but then I was looking at the actual pattern itself of a size small, and so the feet were already like way too close together. And I was like, well, this gives me a great opportunity to figure out how I want to actually do the back of the panel, because I really have never been very good with like carrying my yarn. So this will just be a good opportunity to learn how to do that and watch a better tutorial and go through that whole process, because it was really bad so far. So while it was kind of like some lost time, I feel like it's a good thing that I messed it up so I can learn a better way to do it. Last night before I went to bed, I read the majority of volume 3 of Black and White, Black or White, and it's okay, but I skipped ahead a little bit to see how far I had left, and there was continued dubious consent, sketchy consent or lack thereof, and it was just a lot. I'm gonna probably finish that tonight before bed, but then I also DNF'd The Little Sleep by Paul Tremblay. I love Paul Tremblay's writing, but this one was just not for me. I know that it's kind of being built up to be this like stereotypical from Boston kind of PI character, and I've never been interested in PI or detective books, and so despite me enjoying Paul Tremblay's writing, I'm just not enjoying the story. I might pick up a short story collection because I have a few of them. There's one that's like Lesser Known Monsters something, and there's another one I think it's called like Mouthful of Birds. But I also have options like This Is How We Lose the Time War or Win the Time War, and that one is a really quick read, it looks like, as well as Fever Dream, which looks like it's very quick. It's very big font. So I think tomorrow I'll probably pick up one of those and kind of see what I'm feeling. I want to show you the fabric I have. It's actually quite heavy. There was some really cute fabric over at Joann's that I bought this weekend, and I'm thinking of doing like a bit of a collection, probably summertime, and because these are kind of like all matching. But the first one is just like a nice gray color. It's almost like a light purpley gray. And then I have this like orangey peachy pink color. And then I also have this like very, very light, kind of like earthy green. And sorry if these aren't focusing very well. My lighting's a little poor tonight. And then this very, very pretty to me lilac purple color. And the last one is just this light blue, there's like some gross wrinkling on the side there. Light purpley blue color. I also have some more stretchy fabrics. I have like a hunter green and a mauve pink, which are both very basic. They're just a lot smoother than the other one, like softer. And some florals. I have this pretty like flowers on gray with that one, which these are more like kind of like polyester top kind of material, where they're like kind of like a little swishy. I don't know how else to describe that. And then I have this like creamy off-white color with more flowers on it. I really like that one. I think that's it. Oh no, I have one more, and I actually really love this one. This is more of a stretchy kind of like stretchy cotton material, and it's just some stripes, just some stripes, and I think that'll look really cute. So I did notice when I did my launch a few weeks ago, for maybe it was a week ago, my gosh, I feel like it's been forever. I did notice when I did my launch for the hair scrunchies that people weren't as much of a fan of the really big ones, and so I've only cut these colors, which look at all that fabric. I've only cut these colors in the small and medium sizes, I believe, because I found that those were the most popular, but also like they're the ones that I would be most likely to purchase personally. I feel like the big ones look great in photos, but they're a little bit clunky when it comes to actually putting them in your hair. It is quite late in the day, and I don't know if you can tell, but I have quite a bit of string on me because I have been sewing for the last few hours. It becomes clearer and clearer every day that I'm starting to use crafting as a replacement for reading, which is a replacement for therapy. But that will be a discussion for another day. Last night I did finish Black or White Volume 3. I'm gonna stop reading there in the series for now. I tried to make scrunchies last night and I don't remember if I checked in, but I was having a hard time and they weren't quite the right measurements. And so I really liked the striped fabric, but if you can tell, this is like way too much fabric for one scrunchie. Like, it is just not quite the aesthetic I'm going for. Let's try it on. I'm gonna keep this one because I really do like this. I really do like this material. Can I actually get this on camera? But it's too much material. So I was having a really hard time, and I was thinking about it honestly in my dreams about how to figure out the fabric distribution, how much fabric, because things seemed to go a lot smoother when I had the first bunch of scrunchies that I made. And then this bunch of scrunchies is like different types of fabric. So I discovered that that was kind of the crux of everything. Did a few tests. I realized that like some of them were just still too wide or weird or something. And then I cut things down. So I've made 4 different colors of scrunchies. I probably made about 20 scrunchies tonight and my back is absolutely pissed at me about it. The first ones I made are actually like half the amount of fabric that I was using for the other ones. And this is just that pale pink. I try to get a good angle on it, but it's just a nice little scrunchie. Kind of looks like a butthole. And then I have like the smaller size of it there. But it's just a pink kind of color, and I made a lot. 1, 2, 3. I made 5 of those. Let me throw them in the pile. And then I did the blue ones. So those are the 2 colors for that. And then the other ones are more of the like swishy kind of fabric that I was making my original scrunchies with. And I'm starting to think that I might need to cut that down as well. But I made that in smalls and mediums as well. So those are the 2 colors. I made 3 in this like white, off-white floral color. And again, it's kind of hard to see the fabric, but it is just a nice like off-white and pink and yellow flower. And then this one I obviously made last night. Is this a hairstyle? Camera, tell me, does this look stupid? Since I have my undercut, I do not have a lot of hair to put up, but I know I have a lot of hair in general. Looking a little scraggly. The other thing that I'm really excited about is the fact that I started a book that I'm enjoying quite a lot, and because they are short stories, it is keeping my interest, and it's a short amount of time. So I did start Lesser Known Monsters of the 21st Century by Kim Fu, and these are all short stories by this author. I don't recognize any of the other books by this author, but I did read 2 stories of this last night, so I'm on page 32. The first one was this cool story about like virtual reality and the morality behind like wanting to see a representation of someone who's passed away, and it's just kind of navigating that in like a very quick like legal kind of sense. And then the next one was about this group of girls. I want to say they were either in elementary school or middle school, and one of them starts to grow feathers and wings from their ankles, and it's kind of like a view on this like magic of childhood versus like adulthood. It was again comparing it a bit to like puberty as well, and how like I think there was a really cool line. We'd been told we would develop a new interest in boys. They would suddenly become intriguing, infuriating, and looking at them would make us sweat our new rancor sweat. For me, that had not happened. Boys seemed yet more distant, less interesting, as the girls around me morphed in ways that were truly fascinating, as they grew wings. And it was just a cool take on, I think, a bit of sexuality as well. Like it could also be seen as like a queer kind of perspective on becoming an adult, going through puberty. All right, I don't know if you can tell by my face, but this week it's ending on a low note. Thursday, yesterday, and today, Friday, were like the most draining that I've had in a long time because of work stuff. I felt like I was just scrambling to stay on track with work. And it definitely like filtered down through and like kind of affected my mood. And so I did not end up getting back to Lesser Known Monsters of the 21st Century. I think that's the title. And I ended up kind of falling back on manga. So I did also finish yesterday, I believe, Toriton Birds of a Feather Volume 1. It's a BL manga, although it was one of those like mature wrapped in plastic manga. I feel like a lot of BL manga is wrapped in plastic because there is nudity or sexual content or something of the like, and there wasn't any of that in here. The only like semi-sexual thing that happens is that, spoiler alert, they kiss at the very end of the book. And it's a very chaste kiss, and like it's very sweet, and I thought it was actually like a really good manga overall. I gave this a 4 to 5 stars. This is a story about a I think he's like a high school graduate. Yeah, he's like out of high school, and it's a kind of like jack of all trades, like handyman around town. He tends to like help the elderly, go get groceries for people, deliver things, that kind of stuff. And he has this weird talent where he can like talk to birds and they can understand him, and it's just kind of funny. I think starting next week, maybe even just this weekend, I'm gonna read like cat mangas, and I'm sure there's plenty of other ones out there. I have tons on my TBR, but I actually own these two now. So this first one is The Walking Dead, and it's a cat's eye view of the apocalypse, of the zombie apocalypse, and it is like a whole compendium size. But I asked for this for Christmas from Jose, and I got it, and it is a chonkin book. But it says, look what the cat dragged in. Zombies roam the earth, and civilization as we know it is dead. When Jin, a young man trying to survive the chaos, rescues a cat from certain death, the unlikely duo sets off on a quest to find a mysterious island where Jin's wife may be alive. Witness the zombie apocalypse through the eyes of a fearless feline whose curiosity may kill him yet. And it has a 3-volume tale collected in one complete omnibus. And it just, something about the cover, obviously super cute. It's kind of like a a cat take on like The Walking Dead, The Walking Cat. I found this today and it just came out. Actually, it's technically not out for another few weeks, but this is Cat Gamer Volume 1, and this is level up with a new feline friend. Rico, a 29-year-old office worker with an obsession for video games, finds her quiet upended when she takes in a stray cat. Having no experience with pets, Rico uses lessons drawn from video games to guide her in cat care, while her cute companion tries to understand Rico's behavior and personal obsessions through a cat's worldview. And so, if you're interested in that, I am going to read these this next weekend and do like a little mini vlog on it. But for this vlog this week, I am going to end it here because I don't feel like I'm in the right mental state to have any more productive things to say for this vlog. Thank you, friends, for being here and watching the video. If you made it this far, leave me some sort of like flame or candle emoji because I went and bought some candles today. That's it. I love you all, and I will see you next time. Bye.